we don't like to be told this is what you get, right? Or when they say people like to buy, they don't like to be sold. And precisely one of my colleagues in real estate was talking about that. I go and present solutions, right? So that the client can see what's more in alignment with what they're looking to. Welcome everyone to Real Estate Talk with Tanya Flores. I am so excited. I have a very special guest, Roberto Arista from Wintrust. He's been in the banking industry over 25 years. That's high school and education and college and maybe a master's as well combined in there. And he's been in different roles. He's been as a manager. He's also been on the banking, and right now he's in the business development. We know that there are a lot of you that have businesses, or probably you have favorite businesses. So this information is one that you want to learn, and make sure you share it with a friend. Make sure you like and subscribe, because we're going to get into something that will be helpful for you. Roberto, I am so excited and grateful that you're here today.
Well, thank you, Tanya, first of all, for the invitation, for bringing me to your podcast. And hopefully, the conversation we're going to have today is going to be useful for you as a business owner. And, either take it back to the person you work with, or if you're just looking for a consultation, I'm available as well. But again, thank you.
I'm excited. I did learn a lot from you when we were in lunch, so that is why I invited you here. I said, if I got value from this conversation, I need to make sure that other people get access to it too. Now, you and I met through networking.
Correct.
You're a big networker. You're out there all the time. What is one advice that you would share after being 25 years in the industry around building relationships? Because you told me you're not about transactions, you're about relationships.
Correct. And that's one of the things. I'm not a transactional guy. When I say that, I don't just help you open that account, that business account with that loan. I like getting to know you on a personal level. I want to learn from you. I want to, learn what you like. I want to build that relationship where, I'm going to trust you, you're going to trust me. And I want to be that resource for you when it comes down to other things that you might need. And yes, I do network a lot. It does take time, but being in the industry for 25 years, to this day, you still have to network. You still got to get out there and get to know people, because you want to continue building your pipeline. You want to continue building, friends, because eventually they become my friends. First it's just business, but eventually we become friends, and that has helped me in my career. Yes, I'm selective nowadays to what events do I go, because imagine if I attend every single event, that would be a burnout on me.
That would be.
When I say selective, it's, the organization. Who's the organization? What's their mission? And what are they doing? So that's why I say selective. But I like going out there, just connecting, or even just, catching up or seeing, old friends, or new friends that I've made. And just, having a good time, at the same time getting to know people.
That's true. That's great advice. I think in the beginning, when you're looking to develop your networking skills, you're like, I'll go to anything. It's so funny because I hosted an event yesterday. It was Run with Hearts, and it was in the sports athleticism. I'm sharing this because one of my real estate attorney partners, shout out to Salvador Cicero from Cicero Law. I did not invite him to the event, and I was very intentional to not invite him, not because I didn't think he was going to have fun, but I know that the type of clients that he works with, that's going to be aligned with what is going to drive the business, or in this case, serve the clients, right? You want to be in touch with people who have businesses, right? So for yourself, you've helped a lot of businesses, and we had a conversation. We were talking about, when you meet with a business owner, you're not only, looking to get the loan, right? Sometimes people feel when they're working with professionals, whether it's real estate agents or the car salesman, that we're just out there to get a sale. Yet our goal really is to find out what your needs are, right? And find out what you're looking for. How do you apply that in your business?
Well, when I meet a new business owner for the very first time, I do a full analysis. And when I say an analysis, I'm going to ask you everything. I'm going to ask you from, what made you start the business, or if you took it over from your parents. Nowadays, a lot of the young, adults are taking over their parents' businesses that started years ago. So I'll ask questions. I want to know and find out what made them start that business.
Yeah.
What have their success been? What are the struggles are? what currently is working and not working. So all these questions that I ask in order for me to understand the business and be able to see the whole picture instead of just going in there and be like, oh yeah, you want a loan or you want a business account. I don't work that way. That's not me. That's why I say I build relationships. I want to get to know you, you know?
Yeah. I love what you said. Roberto, why banking? Why did you choose this career?
I told you my story. I'll be brief. It's
They don't
funny.
know it.
It's funny. To this day, I still laugh at myself. It's funny how I got into banking.
It is.
I was working as a cook. For those that don't know me, I was a cook before back in my days, and I still enjoy cooking. And I was going to be hired by this big hotel chain, and I did not accept the job. And people asked me why. I was young, 20s, and they wanted me to work every single weekend in a holiday. So I'm in my 20s. One of the things that I till this day, and I've always been, I'm a upfront person. You know, I told them it's not fair for you, it's not fair for me. I cannot commit to working every single weekend. I don't mind doing every other weekend, and I don't mind working holidays, but it required me to work every weekend. So I did not accept that job. So I was like, it seems like anywhere I go, it's going to be the same thing. You know, I have to work every weekend and holidays. So I'm like, I guess I got to do something different. So my older brother is like, so what are you going to do now? I was like, I don't know. I guess not the, hospitality industry. So he knew someone at the bank. I went, applied, went through the whole process. I got a call, went for the interview. And I still remember the hiring manager over at LaSalle Bank. That's who I started my banking career. His name was Frank, and the assistant manager, Linda. I'm never going to forget those names. So I will go to the interview, believe it or not. I walk in, and the first thing I tell him was like, look, we already have someone in mind that you want to hire. By all means, hire them. Because if you give me the opportunity, I'm only going to stay 3 months or 6 months. I'm not planning to make a career out of banking. They looked at each other like I was nuts. So they just went along with their interview. 2 weeks later, I get a call from HR of LaSalle Bank, and they asked me how the interview went. So I was like, I guess it went okay. And they were like, well, we got great news for you. They want to, extend an offer. And I was in shock, to be honest.
Well, now I get it. I mean, you've always been upfront. You continue to be upfront.
Yes.
There's definitely a payoff to saying things as they are.
Yes. And now look, 25 years now.
25 years, and you've worked with a lot of clients, right? You've had to ask questions, deliver some news, and make a difference, right, as well.
Right. And sometimes you got to deliver the bad news. When I say bad news, because sometimes you cannot approve that business owner with a loan. But the thing that I like to do is give them options. And when I say options is give you an alternative. We might not be able to do it in-house at the present time, but we might have to outsource this to one of our other partners that we have, that they might be able to do that loan or line of credit for the startup businesses or for businesses that have been under 2 years. We can refer them to, or we'll tell the prospect, the business customer, Mr. Customer or Mr. Prospect, unfortunately, at the present time, we cannot, approve you. But if we do A through Z, we can revisit in 6 months or 12 months. And then there's a high chance that we might be able to help you.
Absolutely. That's great. I mean, we all like options.
Yes.
We don't like to be told this is what you get, right? Or when they say people like to buy, they don't like to be sold. And precisely one of my colleagues in real estate was talking about that. I go and present solutions, right? So that the client can see what's more in alignment with what they're looking to. And even if it means that they're not working with you, that's what it sounds like.
Correct. Yes. One of the questions I always get asked by other bankers or people in the banking industry, like, there's so much competition out there. Yes, there is. There's business for everybody.
Yeah.
There's business for everybody. And if I have to refer to another bank institution, believe me, I've done it and I'll continue doing it. I do what's best for the individual, not what's best for me.
Right. And, at the end of the day, some people think that, I'm doing this for me. And then, it hit certain numbers. It all at the end gives results, right? So if you're thinking about the client, even if the client's not working with you, they probably send you customers or they refer you people because they love that you really had their best interests at heart.
And at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for the individual, for that business owner, because I've seen it through my career where they appreciate it, and trust me, they're going to be loyal to you. And they'll send you people because they see that you're doing it for them, not for you. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, all right, I'll go with them, but, can I come back to you? You tell me when I can come back to you. And And sometimes I'll tell them, like, yes, you're welcome to come if you feel like it, but you're in great hands whoever I refer them to. So, and that's one of the things I always tell people: you gotta work with someone that's gonna work for you.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people, you heard me
Yes.
said this.
Yes.
You know, you need the three people like on your A team.
Yeah.
Which is your good attorney that's going to be able to, help you manage all your numbers for your business. Because when you're ready to either expand or you want that line of credit or you want to buy that equipment that you need, that you're showing your numbers. So you're showing your profitable business year after year. You want that attorney to review all your legal documents. Especially if you're going to purchase your commercial space.
Yeah.
If you're going to lease a space, you want your attorney for all that. Because you want to make sure that you're not getting yourself into something that's going to be hard later on, that you're not going to be able to get out of it. Third, you need a great banker that you can pick up the phone, call them, and set it last second. And a realtor too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
A realtor too, because as a business owner, you're too busy in your day to day, running your business, because probably, at the present time you have to be involved and do everything yourself, that it's going to be hard for you to get those tax returns or to get whatever it's required, that you can pick up the phone and either call your one of the three and say, look, call, John Doe here and call, this other person. They'll be able to, work together and share all the information you need.
That's awesome. That was a great advice on your A team. So do you have your A team? And if not, one great way is, ask people that you're working with. If you already have a great CPA, they likely know a really great banker. And if you don't have a great banker, we know we have Roberto, so you can definitely contact him as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I tell business owners. You have to have the right people on your side, on your team. Because like that, all of them communicate. And, it makes it a lot easier for the business owners to keep running their business.
Yes, it does. Now, tell me about, you've had a lot of clients. 25 years, you've had to have a lot of stories on where having the right banker has made a difference. Is there someone that comes to mind right now, and what were you able to do for them?
Good question. Yes, we've been in the industry for so long time. I've had a lot of clients. I've seen clients that unfortunately have passed away. Clients that now I see their children. They're grown people, grown individuals. I would say simple as one of my clients was overseas. Was staying out there for a good amount of like 6-7 months. Lost her debit card. Obvious. You're overseas. You need money.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. Was like, I need a debit card. My debit card got lost, and we were able to order him a debit card. We had it, back then. I'm talking about years ago. We had it shipped to our branch, and we shipped it UPS to where he was. So that's something small, but to the client was something big.
Oh yeah.
Then I had another client that was a business owner here. Was living in Mexico, in Guanajuato, if I recall. And we did a lot of business over the phone, meeting with his accounts or needing to do certain things, So we were able to communicate, either email or phone. Same thing, very appreciative. Now here locally, I would say that during the PPP time, so obviously when the pandemic happened, we've been able to help those businesses acquire that PPP loan. That I was working at a previous bank before Wintrust, where one of our local taquerias, the lady came in and said that because of us that helped her, that were there with the PPP loan, she was able to keep her doors open. That made me feel good because one, she kept her business.
Yeah.
She had, she kept her employees working, and she said, without this, I probably would have had to close my doors. So that's something that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So it can be a small thing, it can be something big, like in this case with the pandemic and the PPP loans, just helping them.
That's the livelihood of their business. To be able to have them keep their family business is amazing. Now, a lot of these things you've been able to do is because either someone referred them to you or you built a relationship, like that client that needed their debit card. If I don't have a relationship with a banker, how do they know who I'm going to be? This happened because the business owner or the client, they took the time to establish a relationship with you.
Correct. We built a relationship, where we worked closely, where, they knew they could pick up the phone and call Roberto. With our taqueria lady, obviously she was already a client, so what we did, we were calling our customers saying there's available money out there for businesses. So we helped them out. And believe it or not, we also got new business. Why? Because unfortunately, other institutions were either too busy or they were just not, I guess, working with their clients that were referred to us because of the way that we were assisting our clients.
Thank you for helping all the business owners. I'm sure there are a lot of grateful customers from the taqueria that are glad that the taqueria is still open. What would you recommend to someone who has a business? How can they start to establish a relationship with a banker, and why is it important? Aside from, from the stories that you shared, how do I establish? I mean, usually people go, I remember I open up a business account and that's it. That's like the last time you talk to the person who opened to your account.
Obvious. The way I would work, when I start working with a new business owner, through my process, I always tell them, look, all right, you're going to become a client. We're going to meet probably twice a year. Now, if it requires for us to meet often, we will. Why? Because our lives change constantly. Today we're here doing doing this podcast with you, and tomorrow we're doing something else. The real estate industry is changing, the banking industry is changing, so constantly things are changing. Same for business owners. So it all depends what we spoke, what are we working on, and so we might be meeting probably quarterly, if not minimum 2 times a year. But they know that they can pick up the phone and call me directly. So I always advise business owners, like, work closely with your bank and your banker. Why? Because if they get to know you and you get to know them, they're going to be able to say, hey, Mr. Customer, look, we have this promotion going on, or Mr. Customer, it's time for us to probably do a refinance because the rate's going low, or whatever the scenario is. So you have to build that rapport with your bank and your bank.
Yeah.
Because once you have that rapport, they're going to call you.
And that's amazing because, I work with a coach for my real estate business, and, when I have accountability systems built in, right? I meet with them weekly. They tell me this is what I need to work on. And, we're not always perfect, right? So then it's like today, for example, I got a little email reminder and something I need to give to my coach. And working with a banker, you don't pay them, right? Like, I don't have to pay you to get your assistant. So it's great. Leverage it, call, build a relationship. Completely 100% agree. Let's focus on coaching and that area. You shared with me that you were a coach, and I was so shocked of your son's baseball team when he was 4 years old.
4 years old, yes. So my son, I have one son, which right now he's 25 already, only child. Started playing t-ball when he was 4 years old. I was the coach of the team, and I was the vice president of the baseball league. So it kept me busy. Our summers were every single day at the ballpark, It's interesting watching 4-year-old kids want to play baseball. They're 4. I'm pretty sure a lot of you, either had kids before when they were 4 or currently have a 4-year-old. And as 4-year-old, they just want to go and have fun and run and probably play in the dirt. But you gotta have patience. So kudos to all the teachers out there,
Oh, yeah.
You gotta have patience working with 4-year-olds. And it's just teaching them the basics of how to grab a ball, how to throw a ball. It's something simple that you gotta teach them. And they're there because they want to have fun, But it was a great experience. My son played baseball up until he was, I believe, 12 years old. It was very depressing when he told me he didn't want to play baseball anymore. He wanted to play soccer.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, soccer it is. The funny story here is, I myself, I'm not a soccer fan.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything about soccer.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with soccer. Before I get people, getting upset. The only time I'll watch soccer, it's when it's the World Cup. That's the only time I'll watch soccer, the World Cup. Why? Because it's the best of the best.
Yeah.
It's the best of the best. So it was depressing, but as a parent, you have to support your kids. You have to support them. So funny thing. I used to go to the games, and all the parents there, obviously, were huge soccer, people. They're talking about, the positions. They're talking about this, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
But no, yeah. It was very. It was something good that teaching a 4-year-old kid about baseball. It was fun. I got to spend time with my son through all those years, and yes, going to work and running to the baseball field and having to change in the field house put on your shorts and t-shirt because you just came from work, but it's priceless. And second of all, the parents, always said, thank you for doing this.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate the coaches. It's so, so important, especially at that little age where you need so much patience. And, there's two things I want to touch on because
Okay.
I'm sure that a lot of parents are watching, right?
Yes.
So depending on how you grew up, you may come from a household where there is, they've passed on values. There's coachability, right? Maybe you didn't grow up in that household, right? Where you were coached to do things. It's kind of like figure it out, right? And like you should know, right? You're 5. You figure it out, don't do this or don't do that. Yeah, you emphasize how it's important, for 4-year-olds to teach them to take the time. Like sometimes we see, or I see parents, and I've had to grow. I'm not a perfect parent, right? Anybody else not a perfect parent, right? You grow into that role, but there's this culture that I see of kids should know. And there's such a gift and opportunity to be, as a parent, a coach, right? And instill values, a 4-year-old. So if your kids don't know or they're not showing certain values, perhaps it's a reflection, don't you think it's a reflection on us as parents? Or if you're not a parent, maybe you're an aunt or you're an uncle, right? Where is the opportunity to be able to coach the next generation? Where do you see that as being important?
Well, I'm gonna trace back a little bit.
Yeah.
On the 4-year-old kids that were playing baseball. One of the things I always used to say, we're just here to have fun.
I love that.
It's about having fun. It's about having fun. Are you gonna cry? Yes, you're gonna cry. That's okay. But it was about having fun. And as my son got older, it started to get a little bit more competitive. But still, it was about having fun. And about, as they got a little bit older, showing them the fundamentals of baseball, showing them that it's okay if you lose, but you're here, 1, having fun, 2, you're giving your best.
Oh, that's amazing. Having those values instilled, and that is a winning attitude.
Yes.
There is no success unless you embrace the failure. It's part of the process. And having fun is, as Ed Milet shares the story. I'm not going to go into his story. You'll have to see it. But he would tell his kid when he was teaching golf, he's like, having fun is more fun than fun is fun.
Yeah, sure. And look at it this way, even at work, you have to, 1, love what you do, 2, have fun. Because if not, you're not going to help your clients, your prospects. You're not going to perform well. You're not going to give your 100%. And you're going to be miserable. Sorry to say that, but you'll be miserable. Look at me, 25 years, in the banking financial industry. I love what I do. I love sitting down with someone, learning their story. I love being able to give that advice, to them, and knowing that I did something good. And at night, I can go to sleep peacefully knowing that I met with someone, provided them some information. It's up to them what they do with it. It's up to you as a business owner what you do with it. And now going back to the young generation, yes, we have to educate our young generation on finance and on other things too, values, because they're the next generation. They're the leaders of our country.
Yeah.
They're the leaders of our country. They're going to be your next doctor,
Yeah.
your next realtor, your next banker, the next business owner, the next creator of something out there big. So, we have to teach them, we're going to teach certain things.
Yeah. Hopefully.
As we were growing up. So, that's one of the things that I personally do and Wintrust does, where we do a lot of financial education to businesses, to individuals, where we talk about different types of topics. So it's all about education.
It's all about taking the time to educate, whether you're educating as a parent and blocking out that time to instill values like you did, coaching your 4-year-old till 12, until he's like, Dad, you love baseball. I love soccer, right? Correct. So that's good that you were able to let go. And now you do it on the financial side. What are some principles that are important, whether you're, young or older? It's never too late to learn, right?
It's never too late.
What are some principles?
One of the things I always say is, we learn something new each single day, and we all learn from each other, because you have some specialties, some things that I don't know that I learn from you. and vice versa.
Yes.
And we learn from everybody.
Yes.
But the number one thing I always say this, it's as long as we learn 1% each day.
Yeah.
We get better that 1% each day.
Amen. That's true. It's 1% in getting better on how to manage disappointment, how to deal with a disappointment, like
Yes.
versus, being sad about something and losing a whole day work because you're like all depressed or whatever it is, or something in your business, your partner, you're like all cut up. The faster you learn to, okay, this time I didn't take a whole day. I took an hour to come back, or you get better and better.
And it's okay to say, that's a good question. I don't know the answer, but I'll find out. Then to make up an answer. So have there been times when I've been asked a question and I don't know it? Yes. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that I'm not smart or I'm not knowledgeable, but that's why I have a group of different departments where they focus on that area. So if I don't know that question, I'll go to that group, that individual, and then ask them and be like, all right, then I go back to the client or the prospect. Here's the answer to your question that you had.
Yes.
And it's okay to say, I don't know that question, but I'll write it down and I'll get back to you.
That's really important. I don't think I always taught like that. And let me just share this because you're bringing up something personal here.
Okay.
I think if you grow up, not embracing the fact that, we don't have an answer, like there's a consequence, or when you don't do certain things, like there's a consequence for showing up authentically. So it sounds like what you're saying is it's okay if you don't have all the answers. It's okay if you make a mistake. So identifying, I think it's a very important value now that, I embrace it. I still see where certain patterns will come up as like, oh no, it's okay. I'm like, I'm going to get back to you on that. Right. So I want to share this because you're running a business, right? And it's important to take the time to identify where the opportunity and 1% better is. We're not perfect business owners. We're not perfect people. It's about getting better. Yet you have a lot of great strengths. So let's not focus on all the things that's missing. Let's be grateful. As we were sharing earlier, you were sharing how you wake up and what do you say in the morning when you wake up?
I'm thankful. I thank God for giving me another day that I was able to, get up, open my eyes.
Amen. If you have today, you have the opportunity to be grateful for who you are. You have unique strengths and talents and gifts. And you also have the opportunity to get 1% better at your business. So if it comes to finance and there's things you want to get in place, maybe you want to get in place the next business location, right? Or you want to increase your cash flow. What do you recommend for being able to, as a business owner, to be able to have these conversations?
One, nowadays there's so many organizations out there that offer so much help. Okay, not saying that here at Wintrust we don't help, we do, but sometimes as a business owner, you might need a coach. We were talking about coaching, a coach that's gonna, ask you a bunch of questions, and it's gonna put a plan together that's gonna help you achieve what you want. Okay, someone that you probably might need to update your website, that they're gonna be able to help you. So there's so much help out there, but sometimes we don't look for it or we don't know where to go.
That's so true.
So going back to, that's why you need the right people on your team. If you go ask your banker and say, look, I want to create a website or I need to improve my website, they should be able to guide you somewhere.
Yeah.
Because my clients come to me and be like, hey, Roberto, I need a website, or my website is, can you help me? Unfortunately, I'm not a computer guy. I don't know. I don't build websites, but I tell my clients, like, you know something? I'm going to put you in contact with the right people. They're going to be able to help you.
Amazing.
And I tell them, and believe it or not, they're going to be able to help you for free.
Oh, wow. That's even more amazing. So you look for the resources. That's why having a great banker is important.
So it's like, as a business owner, yes, you have to do a lot in order to be successful.
Yes.
And there's so much help out there.
There is.
So much help that sometimes people are not aware of it.
If someone's looking to apply for a business loan, what do they need, Roberto?
Obvious first, go to your local bank. Go to where you do your banking at. They're going to be able to, one, help you. Two, they already know you. They know about your business. But what banks look for when it comes down to any type of lending that a business owner is looking for, either a line of credit, a term loan because they're going to buy something, commercial loan because they're looking to buy their commercial property, they're going to ask you for your business tax returns. They're going to ask you for 2 years of business tax returns. They're going to ask you for your personal tax returns because the bank wants to make sure and see how's your business, doing. Obvious, is it growing? Is it profitable year by year? Is there enough income that you're going to be able to pay that loan? And also, they want to look at your personal tax returns to make sure that there's assets on the personal side. They look at all that, to make sure that they're going to be able to lend you what you're looking for, or they might be able to come back and say, something, Mr. Customer, that have $1 million line of credit you're looking for. We're not going to be able to give it to you now, but we can give you 300,000 or whatever it is. You got to work with your banker because your banker is going to be your advocate for you when it comes down to that, because they're going to talk to business department and say, yes, I know, John Doe for the last 5 years, 6 years. This is what they do. They've been in business. They keep growing year by year. So that's also going to help. And keep in mind, obvious, there's other factors that banks look in order for you to get approved, such as your credit score. They look at your credit history. They might look at your accounts receivables for the business. They look at how long you've been in business. So there's so many factors when it comes down to applying for a loan, and it's not just Wintrust; it's every financial institution does the same thing. But keep in mind, there's also what's called micro lending.
Yeah.
Those type of loans are a little bit different. You're still required to 2% your tax returns and all that, but it's a little bit different than going through a normal conventional lending option and all that.
Awesome. So it sounds like there's options. You get your paperwork together. And one thing I tell my clients also on the real estate, not only residential, but commercial, earlier is better. Because even if you're thinking about getting your business location, let's say in 3 years, the earlier you have a conversation with a banker will allow us to see, right, the picture and what things you would need to do to be able to get that location a couple of years, right, if you're not ready.
So what we do here at Wintrust, I meet with the prospect of the client. We look at numbers, we look at what they're looking for in regards to the loan or the line, and what is it for, and so on. And then I meet with my team where we review everything, and we try to structure it to see what's the best option for them. It's not like we'll meet and that's it, and yes or no. We try to structure it to try to see how we can get you approved. And again, going back to earlier, if at the present time we cannot approve you, we'll give you an option. We're not just going to say, no, that's it, and goodbye, and good luck. No, we'll find another route where we can, help you and refer you to. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I love options. Business owners love options. The whole point of having this conversation today is that there are people that are here to serve you. Be on that A team so that you can continue to grow your business, whether you're looking to expand, need more inventory, need to hire someone, or looking for a location, that you have someone that you can count on that is looking for your best interests. We are so grateful that you are here with us. But before we leave, I want to make sure, Roberto, are there anything else that you think they need to know as business owners?
As business owners, just don't be afraid to ask questions. Majority of the people, individuals, sometimes are afraid to ask a question because they may think it's a dumb question. But know that there's no dumb questions. Every question has an answer. So the more questions you ask, the more it's going to help you as an individual. It's going to help you as a business owner. A lot of my clients come to me for everything.
That's awesome.
For everything. Why? Because we built that trust.
Yes.
They trust me, that I'm going to refer them to someone that I trust, and that they're going to be able to help them and not, take advantage. So ask questions, work closely with your bank, with your banker, get the help that's out there. There's a bunch of help, different organizations that offer services to business owners at free at no cost. So go for it. One of the things I tell myself, it's like, if we have a bad day today, tomorrow's going to be better. Is it going to go wrong? It might go wrong, but we're going to make it better.
Absolutely.
So, and also, if you're not happy with your current bank or your banker, there's so many banks out there. Shop around. Go talk to different banks, different bankers. remember, they're going to work for you. Interview them.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. Don't be stuck where you're at because you've been there for years. If it's not working for you, then shop around.
100% agree. Do not settle in banking. Work with the best.
Yes. Thank you again, Tanya, for having me. If your audience have any questions, feel free to have them, reach out to me. And again, no commitment, no obligation. We can sit down, have a conversation over coffee. If you have questions, and I'll be happy to sit down and meet you and learn about you and your business.
We'll make sure to include Roberto's information so you can reach out to him. We're here to serve you. We want to see you continue growing and succeeding and getting 1% better each day.
Correct. We got to work on improving that 1% every single day. Imagine every single day 1%, we're all going to be successful.
That's right.
And again, it's a pleasure being with Tanya today. It's a pleasure being with you guys and ladies today. And again, everything's possible. Put your mind to it, put your time to it, and you're going to be successful. And as a business owner, you want to continue growing. You want to leave that legacy to your children, grandkids, or whoever. But it takes work. It takes work. Again, thank you very much. Have a good day.